Have you been told that your FSH is high and then panicked and thought, what the heck does that mean? Come grab your cup of tea. Come join me as we talk about exactly what FSH means and what you can do to help it if you can. I'm Denise Noyer-Erez, and I'm known as the Fertility Godmother. And I have been helping women and couples for almost 18 years and been blessed to help over 1,000 babies come into this world by using my systems. So I'm excited to be here with you today to talk about FSH and what does that really mean for you and different things you can do to manage it as we maybe take a different perspective of what that really is. So thank you for coming here today. If you have any questions, I'd love to see them in the comments below. Go ahead and type them in and we'll talk about it. Hi, Haley. Thanks for coming on. Hopefully my sound is good. So let's go ahead. Hi, Jamie Cherry. Great to see you. Thanks for coming on. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and let's just talk about, first of all, what is FSH? Okay, so FSH is a hormone in your body that communicates with your ovaries. So it's produced from the brain, from the pituitary gland, and it talks to your ovaries. And your ovaries talk back. It's called a biofeedback mechanism, right? So your ovaries are talking to your brain, and your brain talks to your ovaries so that they can communicate about how many follicles or eggs to produce. So usually you test, and this is really important because I've seen it tested randomly throughout the cycle, and you really want to have your FSH tested on cycle day 2 or 3 with another hormone called estrogen. Those are the two that talk together, or estradiol actually. It's E2, there's 3 estrogens, and you want the second one. That's the one we're talking about that they talk to mostly. So what FSH does is it tells your ovaries to produce the follicles. So the reason you want to get it done in the beginning of the cycle is because it gradually goes up as your every day as the follicles start to grow. So what FSH represents is possibly egg quality or the function of your ovaries. So I've had women come to me in a panic because the doctors told them their FSH is too high. And their range that the doctors like to look at is usually below 10. And if there's anything that's above 10, they think they don't mean to, they're just going by their numbers. But it instills fear a lot of times that there's a possibility you can't get pregnant because your FSH is high. So I want you to know that it's a number, and it's an important number, but it's information, and it's really giving us some insight on how your body's functioning and basically the egg quality. So there are things you can do to really optimize your hormone balance, your health, the function of your ovaries, and the egg quality, because that's really what we're talking about when we're talking about FSH and what can be done about it. So I've been able to work with women who've had a high FSH, and high to me is in the 20s, like above 25. I've worked with a woman, only one woman, honestly, myself, about out of 27, who was able to conceive naturally and have a baby. I'm sure some of my colleagues, have also worked with women with a high FSH like that as well. But we've been able to, through using my systems, then to be able to reduce the FSH, get the body back in balance, and have things communicating better. And by doing that, you can lower your FSH and still have a healthy baby. I can't tell you the amount of women that have had healthy babies that really had the fear that they couldn't. And so you want to look at, are you ovulating? Because if you still have eggs left and you're ovulating, your body's in balance, then yes, you have a chance of getting pregnant. You might have to do a little bit of extra things. You might have to put more effort in, but that doesn't mean that there's no possibility for you to get pregnant. Now, I would say if you had an FSH of 30 and above, it's going to be really hard, really challenging. And at that point, you may not have any eggs left, honestly. you're going to be entering menopause. But if you're having a period, if you have eggs left, and you want to check and make sure that you have those eggs left. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them. But you want to make sure that you have enough eggs. So you'll do an ultrasound and make sure you have an antral follicle count, or even do, I think that's the best way to really see if you're ovulating. And you can do an ovulation test through blood, checking the LH surge to make sure that you're the progesterone to make sure that you ovulate it, not the LH surge. Sometimes those give you when you have a high FSH. If you've felt this, wave to me in the comment below, because a lot of times women with a high FSH, they don't get an accurate reading. You'll get, with the ovulation kits, you'll either get nothing or you'll get several days of positives, but you know you haven't ovulated yet. So it can be really misleading. So really the best way to find out if you're ovulating is to do a progesterone test 7 days after you ovulate. And then you can really know that, yes, I ovulated. I had a good ovulation. I had a good surge. And everything looks good. So what you can do is really, there's things you can do to increase the function of the ovaries, to increase decrease the FSH. And you know, I use my system. So my system includes your eating habits, acupuncture, Chinese herbs, and supplements, because you really want to focus on getting your body in balance. So it's taking a look and seeing, okay, are my cycles regular? Are they normal range? Are they too short? Are they too long? So you want to get them back in balance. It's really important. And then you want to increase the communication of the FSH of your brain and your ovaries, so that they can talk better and they can give you a better idea of what's going on. So I like to look at FSH as more of information. And you know, I can't tell you there again, I've said this earlier today, but if you have a high FSH, and if it's under, say it's under 25, and even if it's above 20, you want to do what you can to optimize your egg quality and your egg function, but you definitely can still get pregnant. So it's just taking a look at the number. You might have to put more effort, but it's absolutely possible. So just a quick recap. You want to make sure that you get that tested on day 2 or 3 of your menstrual cycle, because it will go up. You want to make sure that that test comes with estradiol, which is E2, so because they work together. So if you have a high E2 above, like if it's above 60, sometimes 80, depending on the lab, then it's not going to give you a good reading of your FSH. It can give you a misleading information. So that's important to know too. And I just wanted you to know that, because I've seen it so many times. And I just recently spoke with a woman, which made me want to talk about this today, who had, she's only 34 years old, and her FSH, I think, was 24 years old. And she was panicked, like, how could this happen to me? And I know that I can help her because she has a few things going for her. She's young, and she still has, and yes, I think 34 is young. And yes, she still has a high FSH, but I'm confident that if she has eggs and she has a regular period, which she does, then we can definitely get that calmed down, get her body back in balance, and that she will get pregnant. And I'm confident for that for you too. So there you have it. I hope this was helpful and just another perspective about FSH. So just take it as information. Don't take it as the rule. Okay, that's my biggest takeaway for you today. Enjoy. Here's to your health, happiness, and fertility. And I'll see you next week on the Tea with a Fertility Godmother. Bye-bye.